Hi guys, so today we are having Nitin Shah, who is CEO of iChars, and he is one of the person I have been working with since 2017, quite a bit of time, and he's the person who has built systems for his businesses. So today we are going to see his story of what systems have produced for himself. So Nitin, I would like to introduce yourself briefly so that people can get to know about you and your background.
So hi Ashim, thank you for inviting me for this conversation. Um, about me, so like Hashim mentioned, I am CEO of ICHAS, which is Institute of Clinical Hypnosis and Related Sciences. We focus on helping psychologists and coaches develop advanced practitioner skills, which means if you are a psychologist who are struggling with lack of practical skills or techniques when you work with clients, then we are the organization that you come to. And if you are someone who's either a coach and done multiple coaching certifications but is still struggling with working with clients, or is someone who has keen interest in coaching and is really looking for a coach to upskill themselves to really set up a private practice as a coach, then again we are the organization that you connect. So that's what we do, who we are. Um, the courses that we offer are probably the best in the world for what we offer. And when I say probably, I'm being humble, but I think that's it.
Got it. So how many years you have been into this business, Nitin?
So I started training therapists around 14 years back. We set up iChars around 10 and a half years back. We just completed 10 years in May. So, and we have been training psychologists and coaches under iChars for this 10 years.
Awesome. So you have a decade-long experience with the iChars as well. Awesome. So Nitin, what were the challenges that you used to face when you started off, or continue to face until and unless you started building your systems in your business?
See, so when we started because I was just too both passionate and naive that only passion will be enough. So I really enjoyed teaching what I teach, and I thought I would set up my own company because I would have more flexibility and more control both over what I teach and about how I live my life. I realized after a few days probably that I had more control over what I taught, but I had less control over how I live my life. Because, like, when you're an entrepreneur, when you start a profession, especially if you are only one or two people to begin with, you're doing everything. That means you learn a lot. But while you're learning all of that, the challenge is that when you have to train other people to do the same role. So obviously here I'm not talking about training people as coaches and therapists, right? Here I'm talking about next line of people who will handle certain key roles under iChat.
Got it.
That transition was difficult for us for a couple of reasons. One, because I learned it my way in the beginning, and I am a self-learned person to that extent in this area of being an entrepreneur. When I had other people joining us, I would keep struggling with the idea that why are these people not able to replicate what I'm doing? For me, it just sounded common sense.
Got it.
Right? But I realized that was not their fault. I had a lot of time because I learned at my own pace. Mm-hmm. They joined and I expected them to do the same thing almost immediately.
Correct.
And I did not know how to train them because I did not have a process in my own mind. If you were to ask me, "Nitin, आप कैसे करते हो?" I would say, मतलब देखता हूँ, समझ में आता है तो कर देता हूँ. This is very difficult to digest for someone who's learning new. Mm-hmm. And that probably was our biggest challenge, to have the next line of people who would
deliver or work for the iChars.
Not deliver, at least for delivering we had SOPs in place. Mm-hmm. Right? We had processes because we were very clear that only these kind of people, after going through this much amount of shadow training with me, can become trainers. So even if I did not have a process, they shadowed me long enough to acquire most of those things.
Got it.
Right? But with more the staff in office, for example, people, when we hired someone to work on social media, to work on websites, to work on admin stuff. So all the other activities in HR which were required to function smoothly, so that I could and other people could focus on training effectively.
Got it.
All of those peripheral things were getting affected dramatically because we did not have a process and a system in place.
Got it, brother. So I know you are pretty much of tech savvy. You do a lot of research and everything, and you spend a lot of time in knowing what are the new stuff coming in, what are the things that can go hand in hand with your process and structure and everything. पर जिनके पास ये स्किल्स नहीं, उन कोचेस ट्रेनर्स के पास, जिनके पास ये प्रोबेबली ये स्किल्स नहीं है, या ये माइंडसेट नहीं है, या ये प्रोसेस नहीं है कि मुझे प्रोसेस बिल्ड करनी है, what kind of challenges these people would be having in their life or in their business?
Hashim, actually it's the same like we had, right? Now in retrospect I can tell you कि मैंने processes build किए, right? But शुरू के 5 साल में तो हमने भी नहीं की थी, हमको भी नहीं पता था कि processes build करना है. वो तो जहां भी realized that people came in, they were struggling. It's just that we as a team at HR are observant of the fact that new members are struggling, right? So, and we have a more of an open policy where people can come and share with us what they are struggling with, why they are struggling, and so on. So people gave us that feedback that पर हमको नहीं पता ये कैसे करना.
Got it.
Right? And that's where we started developing these systems. So I'm sure other people will also go through their own journey, right? Now, it's just this, right, that when we are having this conversation, if you're watching this video that Hashim is recording, you can either go through your own challenges and after 4 and 5 years come to that conclusion, or you can learn from this video and realize that I don't need to go through this pain because others have, and I can learn from their learning. That's the basic difference that you have to keep in mind. So the challenges will remain the same. When you want, till you are doing everything on your own, you'll probably get away with it. But when you want to add in teams, when you want those teams to replicate what you are able to do, and for you to be in a place where you don't have to constantly keep interfering or poking your nose in the work that other team members are doing, right? So that you can focus on other things. That's where these are the challenges that you will face. And then those are the challenges that these processes will help you overcome.
Got it. So टीम के बारे में आपने बताया सारी चीजें. तो जब आप अकेले काम कर रहे थे, वो जब लोगों को नए अपने ऐड ऑन करना चालू किया, so what were the challenges you faced with your own productivity and the people you were managing and their performance, and how was those things before building your systems?
So Hashim, it's the same now. Many a time when I hired people, because I did not have a process in place, I had to literally sit with them to train them.
Got it.
Right? And after a couple of days, I would think कि मैं अगर मुझे दिन भर इनके साथ ही बैठना है, तो मैं खुद ही कर लेता. फिर इनको हायर करके मैंने क्या किया?
Correct.
Because I am in it still not able to do other things. Right?
Very true.
And this was not just when I trained the first set of people. I trained the first set of people, but the way, because we take in a lot of youngsters and so on, as they get trained, they get mentored, they will get a different opportunity and they would like to move over there. So now when the next person came, I again had to sit with them and go through the entire process. So you would feel, why am I doing this? अगर इतनी मेहनत मुझे करनी है तो मैं खुद ही कर लेता हूँ, इनसे जल्दी तो मैं कर लूँगा.
Correct.
But that then stops you from scaling up, right? Because you can't do other things that you need to do. So
Correct.
that's the biggest challenge in terms of my productivity, that I was not able to focus on other things that I had to focus on because I needed to constantly oversee these people's work.
Got it. Correct. So after building systems, what were the shifts that you have seen with your performance and your team's performance?
See, so the initial bit was still a challenge because when I was building the systems with the team, I still had to be with them, sit with them, design what the systems were. I actually started noticing major differences probably after a couple of weeks of building the system. Because when the systems were built and the people who were supposed to follow the systems became comfortable with following the systems, my involvement in their work reduced dramatically. So earlier when I had to probably spend maybe 3/4 of my day just looking at what others are doing. Now mostly I'm able to finish that in half an hour in the morning.
Awesome. Got it.
So that saves me a lot of time.
Lot of time.
Right? So that's the biggest benefit that I've received. And then subsequently, when transition happens, so when one person leaves the job and another person comes into the job, the training required for them, the support that they have available because we already have documented processes, all of that just becomes a lot more easy.
Lot nice. Got it. So even they save the time.
They
While
save
performing
time,
as well.
we save time. Our performance is greater. Their frustration levels are less.
Good. So now employees are happy too. Great, awesome. So Nitin, what were the you could say what were the 5 results or takeaways that you have seen in your business after building and creating systems? What were the 5 major results that you can see in your business happening?
I'll probably say results plus takeaways because they'll be slightly different. So one of the first takeaways for me was that while you're building the system, you have to monitor the systems initially.
Got it.
Because they would require fine tuning. So even though you will start noticing the results, you still need to observe the system, see it being applied, and fine tune it so that you reach at a place where you realize that, now this is set.
Got it.
This is one. Second key takeaway for me would be you will need to invest some time. Like I said, it can't be done in one day. Especially if you have a bigger team, if you have multiple departments, each department will have multiple activities and you may have to build in systems for each of them. But the key takeaways were increased productivity, better time management,
got it.
Less conflicts because things were more clear for us and for the people who were working for us, right? And a greater degree of satisfaction and happiness on part of people who are using those systems.
Got it. And what were the results of those? You can say in terms of when we talk about revenue growth or when you talk about your personal growth or your team's members' growth. What would be the results if you can quantify or if you can say this percentage of growth I have experienced or something like that? What would be that thing that for?
So more than anything else, the figure that I can give you will be more in terms of efficiency, right? So the job that 3 people were doing earlier, today in our team, 1 person can do efficiently, and even after that, they have time.
Awesome.
So we are literally looking at 300% increase in efficiency.
Wonderful. So if you can multiply with the revenue system, it goes like multiple time growth. If you do that way, if you calculate that manner. Awesome. Right. Wonderful. So Nitin, this is something which is related to Bizopmatic. So you are tech savvy, you have researched a lot of things, you have done a lot of things yourself and all. What was the key differentiator that you looked in us, or you thought we will be the right fit for helping you design and develop those things? So what would you say about that?
So Ashim, see, eventually I do believe that businesses are a result of relationships that you build with people, right? And the fact that I've known you for some time, that we have done small things over a period of time, meant that over a period of time, I felt comfortable enough to be able to take this entire project with you.
Got it.
So that would be one big reason, right?
Okay.
Second was obviously in terms of availability. Now, this could be because of the way your team works, that your team is accessible, and therefore I felt more comfortable that if I needed support about something, then I don't have to wait for hours or days to get that support. Generally, we are able to just connect over a WhatsApp or a call, and then we are able to clarify if there's anything that needs to be clarified. So that ability to connect to the support system is an important requirement for the kind of tie-ups that I end up having, right? So I would say these 2 things. One was the personal relationship, and second was the surety that I would be able to connect with your team without having to wait for a long period of time, and I'll get a response from them without me needing to wait for like days, which may happen in some other cases.
Got it. Thank you very much for pointing that out. What do you think, without having a strong systems in place, how far a coach or a trainer can go or take their business?
See, so it depends how far is far. In the sense, for a lot of coaches and trainers that I know, they say कि if we actually have 2 or 3 assignments a month, or if we have 2 or 3 clients that we can work within a week, that should be good enough for us. So if that's what you're looking for and you're planning to work alone, no systems, I don't think it will make much of a difference, right? But if you're really looking at scaling where you want to grow your team, that is very, very difficult without systems in place. It will be difficult for you, it will be difficult for your team, which basically means that your growth is highly shunted if you are not having the right processes in place.
Got it. Great. So, what kind of vision now you have for your business in next 5 years after building those systems?
So, now that we have the systems in place, one of the visions that we have is to actually grow our team, the support staff that we have in the team, by at least 4 times. There are a couple of projects that we have in pipeline that we are working on, because of which there will be additional teams that will be built on for each of those projects, right? We have a mobile application which is about to be launched. We have a visibility portal that we have some really huge plans for. The ICHA's courses, there are additional courses we are adding in the ICHA's practitioners program and so on. So there are things that are in pipeline. 5 years down the line, under ICHA's at least, I expect to be ready to have a full-fledged master's degree college.
Okay, that's awesome. That sounds big.
Yeah, so that is one thing that I'm exploring. Now, earlier when we were exploring this, we were looking at it being a offline residential college. We will see whether we want it to be like an online distance education college now or an offline college. But beyond that, we are surely looking at a proper 2 years master's degree affiliated to universities being offered by ICHA. That would be our big.
Awesome. Very good.
Big in terms of efforts that are required. Revenue-wise, probably mobile application is a
bigger chunk of revenue you are going to generate from.
Yeah.
Awesome. Great. So, Nitin, there are a lot of people who are going to watch this, and there are a lot of people who are going to coming in. They are new business owners that might be into the similar situation that you were in when you started off. So, what would be your message to them? What would you convey to them, or say them, or guide them? Ye karo, that will going to help you.
Okay. So, most entrepreneurs start their entrepreneurship journey because they are very passionate about doing what they do. And they are told passion will help you achieve success.
Got it.
Just do what you are passionate about. Okay? I'm really sorry to tell you that's not right.
That's right.
Right. While passion will give you the dedication and the commitment to persist longer, that longer persistence without a proper system generally will not take you too long or too far.
Okay.
Right? Because this is based on my journey, based on the journeys of other people that I know who have been entrepreneurs. Your success many a times depends on how effectively are those things done that you're not passionate about, but are required for your business to survive and succeed.
Correct.
Now, if you're not passionate about it, you will want to build a team to do it. And if you don't have systems in place, your team will never be able to replicate the kind of work you would like them to replicate.
Got it.
And if they are not able to replicate it, you will have to do what you're not passionate about doing, because you then have to complete that work, right?
Right.
And then that just takes away from the joy of why you
are into
it.
Correct.
So that's the suggestion that I have for you. That yes, passion will be a good starting point, but that's not enough. You need systems in place for both. For you to be able to consistently do what you love doing passionately, and for you to be able to hire people to do other things that you may not be passionate about but are required to be done, and they need to also be done efficiently and effectively. And that's where systems will come in.
Wow. So great, wonderful time I had, Nitin, with you. You just gave a lot of things, and the last one was the major passion is not enough. Was the kind of the highlight of this entire conversation that we had. So it was nice talking to you. Thank you for your time, and we wish you all the best for future and your plans.
Thank you, Hashim. All the best. Thank you for having me here.